welcome to our weekly AMA. We are excited to do the news today and have a special guest commentator, Lady Boss Nat from Nat Chat. Welcome in and thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. This is going to be it's really exciting to have you on. So just thank you very much. But real quick before we get going, this is not financial advice. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Many topics will be brought up today, and many opinions will be given today. So please, for the love of all things good in this world, do your own research. All right, so let's get into it. We'll start off with kind of just the major headlines. Obviously, Queen Elizabeth II was confirmed dead at the age of 96 this morning. Adamus, you're with us today. How you doing?
Yeah, I knew you were going to come to me about this.
Yeah,
But
well,
yeah, it's well, obviously. So as a UK guy, English lad, yeah, it's horrible. It's I feel a bit like my gran's died, which she died a long time ago. But this hurts just as bad. But 70 odd years in service, and she's working 2 days until she passed away, ushering in the new PM, which just shows her dedication. But I think there'll be a couple of little ripple effects from this in the crypto world, but nothing too massive, I would have thought. But well, thanks, Plexi. Nice.
did they have a big
But yeah.
influence on the government, like in the policy? You think?
Oh yes. So she literally, we just got the prime minister 2 days ago, so it's been a big week over here. So we've got this brand new prime minister, and the Queen's got to welcome her in and accept the new government. She could say no and say, "I don't want you as a prime minister. Don't want your government," and etc. So literally 2 days ago, she was stood up with a cane, ushering in the new prime minister, who's Liz Truss. He's trying to battle against these energy rises. Obviously, it's got quite bad over here in Europe, but she's put a cap for £2,500, I think it is, which comes into place in October, which will help out massively with the UK government. UK economy. So it's kind of a big deal. So there's a lot going on this week over here on this side of the pond.
I'm curious if I don't know if you know, but like who takes over, like the
Oh,
king?
so yeah, literally straight away within seconds. Not even seconds. It's literally snap. It's done. It's now King Charles, I should say. He is now the king, and his wife is known as the Queen Consort. So technically, it's King and Queen, but yeah. So straight away, and it's a bit strange how she not strange, sorry, but she passed away in Scotland, so they've got to do like this whole um, sort of not song and dance, but like like a bit of a ceremony over there, which is kind of like a nice thing that she's at the top of the country and she'll work her way down to London, so she does pass through the entire country on
Interesting. Sounds
towards the
majestic.
funeral. But this will go on for like a good month. It won't be like a funeral next week or anything. There'll be a lot going on, and there's a lot of new things going to be happening. And as a bit of a horrible thing to say, like it's kind of there will be a bit of a positive spin on this because the new king as well. He's quite a forward-thinking kind of guy in regards to sort of renewable energy and all this kind of stuff. He used to get the Mickey, as we say over here, he used to get the piss taken out of him for being all like tree hugging and stuff like this, which what we all do now, think about the climate and that. But back in the 80s and that, and everyone was like, "Oh, what you're on about? Shut up!" Like you. But so it's kind of a bit of a We'll see. It'd be interesting to see what the next couple of weeks bring.
Yeah, well, because it also comes like that comes with her funeral and all of even just the journey of her body will come with some pretty massive
Oh, the
expenditures from.
logistics behind it. Oh yeah, massive. Yeah,
So
like I
just
say,
to
she's all the way in Scotland at the moment.
yeah, so to just even think about that, like you're talking, and spending money is kind of what keeps crypto going around in many ways. So and that with the works going on with energy is gonna
Oh
kind of have
yeah.
a big that'll have a big effect because one thing that I've been going on the show about for a long time now is that part of the reason why, especially DeFi, but crypto as a whole has been struggling, is because rising costs have made it reduce people's disposable income, and so by
Exactly.
capping potential energy costs, you're talking about potentially loosening that cap and loosening and potentially increasing the ability that people have to
Just
invest.
gives people a bit of breathing space as well, and it's the confidence as well, where people were thinking they're going to have to be, it was going to be like £6,000 a year, and people were wondering, how am I going to pay this? Now it's capped at this 2,500, and as well we get like a little grant as well, £400 I think it is, off the bills and whatnot. So the confidence, I think, over the next couple of days it'll be bad, but I think consumer confidence in the UK, the next sort of 2-3 weeks will turn around, if hopefully anyway.
Well, it's a big event, and I really appreciate the insight. I didn't realize, kind of the ceremony of the coming from Scotland. It all sounds pretty majestic. It's very interesting. Yeah, let's kind of get into some other. There's another, I guess, on a happier note, a happy wedding anniversary between Bitcoin and El Salvador. They had a 1-year anniversary today. Hurrah!
My God, that's flown.
I can't believe a year has already gone by since that happened.
Yeah,
That's
it's one
kind
of my
of
favorite news stories, just because it's a country that has a true need for a better money. So I just love to see it, and I'm glad it's made it this far.
yeah. I'm glad to see that it's like it's had a positive impact overall, and so I think that's incredible just to think about and to see in any real sense, and so I'm glad for it, really. And it's kind of the fact that it's lasted a year is a huge milestone for doubters of Bitcoin being able to be used as a currency and used in that way. So it's kind of massive
by
that way.
block. It keeps going. I mean, I've heard stories of, birthdays being on Bitcoin blocks now.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
All right, this is another fun headline. I just checked my iPhone. I have an iPhone 6. It's all paid off, so I've been using it for a while. But Apple officially unveils iPhone 14. So I can 2x my iPhone if I put a little money into it.
You could over 2x your iPhone, dude.
Yeah, exactly. It'll probably cost me 4x in terms of money. But I haven't looked at it. But yeah, new iPhone. Maybe some new adoption coming in there.
I don't know. Could be interesting. I haven't looked at the new feature set for the iPhone, but I do know that they were looking at some more. I don't know if I'd say crypto friendly, but just general. There's definitely some updates towards being more open to other technologies and stuff. So could be interesting. I'd have to see the headline on if there is some new feature sets that are crypto beneficial.
Yeah.
I want to check it out too, for sure. I seen that they're also going to have a new watch and the new AirPods and stuff, I guess, come out with them as well. So that'll be cool. I'm into Apple everything. Just little fun fact: I love Apple stuff. I have Apple everything.
What's your iPhone number? Do you know?
I think mine is 12.
Oh, so you got some room to grow too there.
Fairly new, so newer. Well, they just keep popping them out now, left and right. I was gonna get the 13, but now the 14's coming out, so I might as well go there, right?
Yeah, 15 coming.
Oh, yeah.
Next, so start saving up.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's kind of like crypto coins.
Yeah,
Every other day there's something new. There's a new one or new version or something.
yes.
I was gonna save this one for the bullish news, but it kind of falls in line with Apple. But LG Electronics launches NFT platform on their TVs, on their smart TVs. And what was interesting to me is it's only currently available in the U.S., but it is currently available for U.S. users with OLED TV version 5.0 and above. So I'm curious what it looks like. I don't have one of those, so I'm just.
I've got an LG smart TV, but I'm up in Canada, so I don't have access to it. Because when I heard you say that, I was like, oh shoot, I'm gonna go check my TV then. And
yeah, so heads up if you got an OLED LG Electronics, and yeah, some fun in the article, some some fun kind of bullish news. Verified Market Research estimated that by 2030, the NFT market will go from 11 billion to 230 billion. That's their estimate.
I think that makes total sense, especially when you think about some of the kind of developments that are happening in the space of NFTs, more in line with crypto, like in DeFi, and especially, well, I guess I'll drop a little bit of news about my own other project. So Schedule Me. Part of what we're doing is we're going to be turning our memberships to NFTs. So making it so people can pay in crypto. You're going to be able to buy a lifetime membership very, very soon in crypto. And you'll be then able to resell that membership. And so that's kind of, I think, utility using NFTs is going to become more and more a thing. And so Schedule Me wants to be kind of at the forefront of that. And
Well,
so
that's interesting. It brings up a question in my head. As far as adoption, for all the people that aren't in DeFi and it's scary and it's all just so complicated, it seems like maybe NFTs will be developed as like an easier way to enter the market. What do you think about that?
I totally think so. Part of what we're doing with Schedule Me is that you can buy with credit card or you can buy with um, with crypto, and it's going to start giving people just give people the ability to start interacting with crypto in a easy, almost as if they do it as if they were buying off Amazon kind of way. Very simple, very easy, and so that it doesn't really change too much in their daily lives, but allows people to kind of interact and become part of that ecosystem without necessarily realizing it. So I think it'll be massive for adoption, because if you can make people be able to use it and not realize that they're using it, then you're just more likely to get people to be interested and wanting to hop on board and willing to hop on board, because most people are just scared that, oh, what if I screw up, because it's crypto's like you can't reverse a transaction. So
Right.
Yeah, or they've heard so many horror stories of this happening and that happening, and yeah. So the better the technology gets and the more user friendly it is. Again, going back to Apple, how they got such a big success is just making it so user friendly and look good as well. So, your grand could have one. I keep going on about grands today, don't I? Your grandma could have one, and
you're
and
British,
use it easily.
so it makes
Yeah,
sense.
we love our grandmas over here.
Exactly, but yeah, I definitely think I think NFTs are going to be a huge, huge push, and probably the first way that people really start getting into crypto. I mean, we've seen NFT tickets for sports events starting to pop up, and now Schedule Me, and I know I don't think we're going to be the only ones, but I know that memberships as NFTs are going to be more and more common, and so I think that's going to be a major piece right there as well. Yeah, I mean, and if we go into security, we could talk about the other stuff that we're working on, but I think
Yeah, I
we
mean,
should
there's
probably
lots
move.
of topics, but yeah, let's go. Let's do the overall market before we get too much into. There's so many nooks and crannies to get into, but let me read a few of these headlines. The European Central Bank hikes interest rates by 75 basis points, the largest rate hike ever recorded. The U.S. dollar hits 20-year high, 110.25, and the euro falls to 0.99 for the first time in 20 years. So the dollar doing very well right now, with interest rates going up. U.S. mortgage rates rise to 5.9%, the highest since 2008. So it's starting to affect the housing market. U.S. labor chief says inflation is heading in the right direction. But there was also this tidbit: U.S. employment rate increases to 3.7%, the highest since February 2022. And on top of that, Bitcoin went below 19,000. The crypto market cap has fallen below 1 trillion. and Bitcoin dominance has dropped a little bit. But what are you all feeling generally about the market and what the Fed might do?
So I think you like if we start at Europe and then we come over to the U.S. The fact that the European Union has only central bank has only just risen in interest rates 3/4 basis points, which is aggressive for them, is kind of indicative that they're behind the U.S., which is why the U.S. dollar is doing better. Europe has been a lot less aggressive, although they have more supply chain related issues than we do over North America, and so that's part of it. Bitcoin's struggling just because there's a lot of uncertainty with what the Fed's next decision and what the CPI data on the 13th is going to be. I think that's kind of going to be a big decision point. If we have another flat month, then the market, we might see a rebound in the markets pretty quickly. But at least North American
I was thinking it might be positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we see zero inflation again, like in terms of a month-over-month number, then that'll be massively positive for the U.S. and likely the Canadian market, so the North American market as a whole. And so, but
what do you think?
Everyone's kind of waiting on that.
When I'm looking at it, it seems like the consensus is right around 0.75. So if it comes in below,
well, that's for a basis. That's for the interest rate hike, but it's more
right.
Inflation. Inflation's the number that people are waiting for.
Right, but just in terms of trying to predict what's going to happen, and a lot of it is just like, what is the sentiment going to be when it happens? But it seems like the sentiment right now is, to me, I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but it's around 0.75. So if they do less than that, could be good for the markets, and risk assets, and if they do more than that, bad, and 0.75 kind of status quo. That's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, and but it's going to be like interest rates is important, and like that's definitely the sentiment in the market right now. But inflation as a whole, so if we do have inflation, if inflation goes up, based on the cost of living index in the next month, on the 13th is the next release of that data, then a lot of people are going to say, oh, last month was a fluke. But if it stays stagnant or inflation comes down, then people are going to be kind of shouting in the streets. Nat, I know you're based out of the U.S., right? How have you found like gas prices and everything out there lately? So I wanted to see what your thought process was, if how you're seeing it in the U.S. right now.
But yeah, it's pretty bad actually. Like everything is, even with like the housing market and everything is it's pretty bad over here. Gas prices are insane. I haven't looked in like the last week or so, but yeah, they keep rising and rising and rising and rising and rising. And then like the market is like because I am was looking to buy a house anyway. Right now is like it's just so bad. They're so overly priced. Like there's like houses that you would think that would probably be condemned maybe are selling for over $100,000. It's just like really insane to even see. It's definitely a seller's market, that's for sure. But yeah, these gas prices are insane over here.
Well, I've heard people say like if the gas prices are moving up or down, it's a really good indicator of what the inflation number might be. I think Jesse Esco.
That's exactly why I asked, because we got relief last month because gas prices had kind of stabilized in some key parts of the country, but
I'm gonna see what they're looking like over here.
I'm hearing more and more that they're back, not
yeah, I haven't felt
back up again.
I haven't been watching it that close, but I don't feel like it doesn't seem cheaper to me anyway. But yeah,
well, over in the main chat, someone's just mentioned the gas price has dropped to $3.
Yeah, it looks like it dropped some now that I'm seeing. I just went on this gasbuddy.com. which shows like all the stations around me. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it or
I
not,
am,
but
yeah. You can find like the
Yeah.
cheapest one around you.
yeah. So it looks like they finally have went down some. I haven't looked in like the last week or so, maybe 2 weeks, because I haven't really been out of the house too much the past 2 weeks. But looks like they finally went down because last time I was out getting gas, they were like definitely higher than what it is now. It looks like now they're sitting at like 355, 356, so 363. Yeah, so somewhere around there. So finally it's under $4. So that's good, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting indicator to watch, but yeah, there's kind
Yeah.
of some other, I don't know, big player news, I guess. Because Russia has been kind of come out with different stances about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, but the Bank of Russia is saying right now it's necessary to soon legalize cross-border payments in cryptocurrency. And the Russian Deputy Minister of Finance says they're working on platforms for cross-border settlements in stablecoins. And they have rethought the approach to cryptocurrencies and believe that in the near future it is necessary to legalize cross-border payments in digital currencies. So I was like to see big countries change their tune a little bit and be like, oh no, I think we got to get on board with this. And
Yeah,
then-
I mean, it'll be kind of interesting to see if cross-border payments become a bigger and bigger thing. I mean, it's a prime reason for using cryptocurrency. I mean, just being able to send money to your relative across the world potentially, while like without having to pay all those ridiculous fees that you pay nowadays is like a perfect reason for why cryptocurrencies are needed and are super beneficial to the market.
it is a big use case. Yeah. All right, here's a couple other little headlines. Then we can get kind of more into some more crypto stuff. But Germany agrees to spend 65 billion on an inflation relief package, which just kind of was funny to me. You're going to spend 65 billion to relieve inflation. I wonder how that is supposed to work. And then this was another interesting one. Stock ban proponents request U.S. House to limit politicians' stock trading by September 30th. And this news kind of came in. It was really interesting. U.S. orders NVIDIA to halt top AI chip sales to China and Russia 1 month after Nancy Pelosi sold all of her shares. And I think that'll get passed. I mean, just living here in the States, I think there's a lot.
It's like a comedy, isn't it?
It's just too blatant. It's gotten too blatant.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so this is kind of regulation news. Ripple senior advisor says there will be CBDC announcements in the coming weeks, including one in Bhutan and another in Palau involving CBDC pilot programs. And that was interesting to me because I more think of XRP as just being in trouble with the U.S., but they're really expanding that use case of cross-border payments. It seems like in smaller test countries. And let's see, what else do we have in regulation? SEC Chair Gary Gensler says he supports giving the CFTC greater power to oversee and regulate Bitcoin and crypto. It kind of highlights just like a little internal battle between the SEC and the CFTC is how they're going to regulate crypto.
Yeah, Gary Gensler, of course, he wants to be the one that they all want.
That's the interesting thing. He's saying he supports giving greater power to the CFTC, which it didn't sound like before, I guess. So that's kind of interesting. Coinbase is funding a lawsuit against the U.S. Treasury for blacklisting Tornado Cash. So that whole story is not going away.
That's kind of, I'm surprised Coinbase would help fund that. Like
they seem like they'd be the ones to first go along with like whatever the regulators want.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Like I wonder what their game is on that.
Yeah, totally.
Like
okay.
that's a pretty big.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's an interesting story, and it keeps evolving. The IMF urges to catch up on digital asset regulation, which I just thought was an interesting headline because they're just behind. The crypto markets are moving fast. You know, it's just changing things, and it's gonna leave without them.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the IMF, so that's kind of it's.
No, I look at it like when I think of Bitcoin and like, you know, its adoption. It's kind of like a video game. Like it's going up in the bosses it's facing, and like the final bosses are like kind of the IMF and United States
Yeah.
and China. You know, like the big players. But it's like getting there faster than I thought it would. You know.
Yeah, I think it just shows the power. It's like the power of crypto in a lot of ways.
Yeah, agreed.
Hmm.
This is kind of the last one in the regulation. Indonesian authorities will launch a state-owned cryptocurrency exchange before the end of the year, seeking to protect investors and growing interest in digital assets. And also, just a shout out to Flo and the news channel that we have. He's a mod at Sphere, and I think he lives I'm not 100%, maybe Thailand or something like that, but he's on that side of the world. So just a shout out to him and just thank you for all the news he shares with the community. Anyway, enough of that.
Here, thank you, Flo. Here.
Yeah, shout out to Flo, man. Like, I mean, I've always really liked the headlines that he drops. It's gotten me into the news a lot. All right, let's get into the bullish news. GameStop forms partnership with FTX crypto exchange.
Oh,
That's kind of a big one. And MicroStrategies will develop enterprise solutions on the Lightning Network. I haven't heard too much talk about the Lightning Network lately, so that's nice to see some development there. Robinhood continues to grow. Robinhood adds support to send and receive Matic on the Polygon network, and Robinhood has listed Cardano. So they're adding more and more. And that's great for investors getting into the space because it's just kind of a good user interface, like simple.
Yeah. No, that's interesting.
Okay, this is out of the United Kingdom. United Kingdom's new Prime Minister, I think you're talking about that, Adamus. They just transitioned power. Liz Truss says she will deliver a bold plan to cut taxes and grow the economy. So it's nothing about crypto per se, but anyway.
It'd be interesting. It could boost if it can boost overall wages and potential growth in investable income. Then that's
Well, this is it. This is what she really wants to prove herself. So this is the main thing. She really wants to get this right. Because again, they've got a general election again pretty soon, so they want to stay in power because they've had a horrible time of it. This Conservative Party. But yeah, like you were saying before, it's all about consumer confidence. So yeah, again, watch this space with that. I think positive-ish news.
Yeah. Sounds more like in the U.S. sounds like more Republican type of statement. More pro-business, I guess.
yeah, it's definitely. But the big thing will be how that impacts inflation.
Right.
The more money there is to go around,
The more money in people's pockets.
yeah, the more likely inflation is to rise, and so that's kind of overall that might be good short term, but it could have some pretty devastating long term impacts.
Well, I thought this one was a really interesting one, just because a lot of the FUD against cryptocurrency is just used by criminals, only used by criminals. But Europol called cryptocurrencies a tool to fight crime. That doesn't sound like only used by criminals. What is Europol, Adamus? Do you know?
Europol.
Yeah,
It's
is
the
it?
European police. Yeah, like wasn't it the overall agency to cover European policing? Kind of like Interpol.
No, I just thought that was Interpol.
Oh, that's
yeah,
Interpol.
I don't actually know that myself.
Okay, so maybe I was confusing that with Interpol. I'm gonna have to look up what Europol is. I was kind of imagining it like, the U.S. Marshals that kind of can go out and arrest, like on a federal level.
Yeah, that's
But
yeah. Normally,
I'll have to
well, I
look
would have
into that a
thought.
little more. Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin says in the future, crypto will only be as volatile as the gold or stock markets, which I tend to agree. It'll get less volatile over time. And 900,000 wallet addresses hold at least one Bitcoin. It crossed the 900,000. One Bitcoin. That's great.
Wow.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, to think about that, Nat. Just like that number, like
Yeah.
that's insane. And I mean, one Bitcoin's not like a small amount.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Like Bitcoin's not even a small amount, and that many wallet addresses have at least one. That's insane.
That's massive for adoption. Like
Yes.
that's like even if they were to have bought it like right now, that is like 19. Like someone's willing to put $19,000 into Bitcoin. 900,000 people or something.
Well, I read an interesting stat. It was if you own 0.28 Bitcoin, you will be a 1%er of Bitcoin holders. You will have
Oh, really?
if you own 0.28 with all, if you
Oh,
take
yeah.
in
28.
the
Yeah.
world, if you have taken the world population, but you'll be in the top 1% of Bitcoin holders in the world. 0.28. You're still early.
It's achievable.
Yeah, that's very achievable.
Yeah, it's around $5,000 right now.
Exactly.
All right, well, let's get into the bearish news that's holding that back. Maybe we should be thankful because we still have a chance to get that 0.28. I'm not sure. But
You did miss
Flash
one bullish one.
Huh?
You missed the bullish one about Bill Murray.
Oh, no, that's bearish. I'm getting into that right now.
Oh, okay.
I can start with that one. So, Hollywood actor Bill Murray's wallet was reportedly hacked for 119 Ethereum. That's the black eye on the space.
Great minute.
It just shows the vulnerability, and if you're not very careful. I mean, one of the things about the blockchain is it's like you're responsible for your own security now. Like your own bank. That's part of like the whole evolution. So it's like with YouTube, it's like now everyone can broadcast, but it doesn't mean everybody wants to broadcast. Right? Like not everyone's going to want to be their own, do all their own security and do all that. Yeah.
But this is it. Do you think somebody was actually? Do you think it was him himself set it all up and was using it and got it hacked by himself,
Yeah,
or do you think? Does he have like someone managing it? Like a lot of people have their Twitter and Instagram managed by somebody.
Yeah.
A lot of these celebrities.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
That
So.
could be totally possible. I know Nat. You've got like Nat Chat, and like it's really like newcomer friendly. Like, and you try to. I know you've participated in some stuff in some recent Twitter Spaces about like getting people, like helping people learn more about crypto. Like, do you
Yeah.
see that as being like one of the big issues with like people trying to get into DeFi or like approaching crypto as a whole?
Yeah. For sure. 100%. Like, I know just even myself coming in, I was, it's a lot to learn. And like, there's a lot of things that, you don't even know until you do it, and then you don't even know it's a mistake until it happens a lot of times. And so it's nice that over in that chat anyway, that there's people, a whole community there that's able to help people because they've been through these things that happen. So it's just, like coming in new, it's a lot to take on for sure. And then, especially with like, just even like setting up wallets and stuff and transferring things back and forth and stuff like that. One little move and that's it. And you don't even know a lot of times that can even happen until it happens. So it's nice to have definitely a community over there where a lot of people are experienced, so they can help you with those things to avoid those kinds of things happening.
Yeah, share from, I've heard mistakes described, that cost money as your tuition for your education, but it's okay to share your experience and hopefully save you. Because I was talking with Kurt from Cardinal House. He has a friend who has been very careful entering this space and attached to, these communities that do help, share and watch out education. And he has been safe and hasn't made all the same mistakes that I made coming into space, just acting like an ape, basically. All right, let's get into a few more of these bearish ones. Get through these. It's not fun, but it's important to talk about. Flashstone hacker received 370,000 USDC as a result of an attack on Nereus Finance. What is this? The famous. This isn't a hack. It's just bearish news. The famous cryptocurrency critic Peter Schiff is sure that BTC support around 20,000 is not real. The level will eventually turn out to be a false bottom, so he thinks it can go lower. And there's certainly a threat of that right now, so careful out there, everybody, in my opinion. Media reported on Netflix plan to ban advertising on cryptocurrencies in the subscription. So, let's not see. Hackers hacked the external interface of CyberSwap, non-custodial exchange of the Cyber Network DeFi project. The damage to users amounted to 265,000 USDC. And the Babylon Finance protocol to stop working due to a Rari Capital hack. I don't know much about any of these. I'm not involved with any of these projects, but I just wanted to highlight them and the dangers that are out there. Okay, we can kind of get into some chain news here. This gets a little more positive. Start off with Cardano. Cardano Vassal hard fork upgrade officially scheduled for September 22nd. And Cardano has flipped XRP to become the 7th largest cryptocurrency in the world by market value. You guys into Cardano at all?
I'm not.
I'm
No,
not.
sorry.
Mm-mm.
So, I mean, I've been involved a little bit with Cardano, and if this story wasn't happening during this month with ETH, it would be a big story. So it's kind of going under the radar, and it's at the end of September, so it may add a little juice to the markets at the end of September.
Been a bit overshadowed.
Yeah. Let's see, Polygon's got great news right now. Plans to increase its workforce by 200 this year. Has flipped DAI to become the 12th largest cryptocurrency in the world by market value. Polygon has said Ethereum's merge to proof of stake will cancel out 99.91% of its network carbon emissions. And Polygon network has surpassed 2 billion total transactions. And I know Stud is kind of, a fan of Polygon as well. But they got a lot of bullish news going on there.
What do you think about Polygon?
You said me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
What do you think?
Sorry. I am honestly not too familiar with Polygon yet, anyway. I've only mostly been like on the BSC or network and stuff. I haven't really messed with Polygon or got too far into it yet. I am, I don't know if you guys know or not, but I am somewhat fairly new, and I would guess I would still say I'm new because crypto has been going on for a while now and always evolving. But I'm less than a year in, so I'm still trying to learn some things and make my way around. So I haven't really got to mess with the Polygon stuff yet. I was actually hoping one of you guys.
Well, look, can I ask you a personal question?
Okay.
What was your first
transaction? Keep it clean.
Yeah, no, it's clean. What was do you remember your first transaction on a blockchain? Your first transaction?
My very first one?
Yeah.
I do, actually. My very, very, very first one was when I went into Titan, actually. That was my very first one. And I got in a little bit after pre-sale. And let me tell you, I was so nervous. I'm like, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? But I did have my fiance, so he's been in crypto as well for a while. So he was there to help me. But even like him helping me, I thought I was doing something wrong. Like, are you sure? Like, did this transaction go through? Like, it's, like it had went through, but it told me that it didn't. So it was like really weird on MetaMask there for a minute. But it was smooth. I haven't had any, personally, I don't even want to jinx myself. I don't even want to say it, but Personally, I haven't
Knock
had
on
any
wood.
mistakes yet where I've sent something the wrong way or somewhere yet, anything like that. I try to like calm down a little bit first, and then, but sometimes it's like you're just so hype and you just want to get in there and get in there. Just like when I was going into Kyoto actually, in that fair launch, and oh man, I was just like trying so hard to get in there, and I was doing that one by myself. My fiance wasn't available at that time, so I was doing that one completely by myself. So I guess I could say that one would be my first one, because that was the first one that I got in on fair launch. I was by myself, doing the transaction myself and everything, and it was like wasn't even going, and I was like click click click, and I'm trying to click it, it just was not going. What happened was I had to take down what I was buying because they were at the end. So I'm thinking like maybe like the tokens were running out or something, like where you couldn't buy anymore. Because I'm like, what's happening? I'm like clicking it and clicking it. But once I lowered the amount, then it let it go through. So I just did a couple transactions trying to get those last ones in because I'm like, I need to get in here. So it was hectic. I almost was clicking the wrong stuff because you could just get so hype on it and you just want to get in there and be a part of it. And I was just like, it was insane there for a moment, but it worked out in the end. So that's good.
That's the FOMO kicking in big time.
Yes, yes.
I've made mistakes in a FOMO state. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Thanks for sharing. Matt, I believe my first like DeFi protocol I invested in, I took Ethereum, bridged it to Polygon, and bought into a thing called Coin off a Jesse Eckel video. That was my first one. Like, but beyond
I
buying
did a bit
like
of gold as well
cryptocurrencies.
back in the day.
Now, you remember yours, Ozzy? What was your first one?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I think it was buying. I brought on from Binance, and then I think I bought Time Wonderland.
Ooh,
I think that was my
Ooh.
first transaction.
yeah.
Was buying Time Wonderland on AVAX.
Infamous.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Gee, yeah, that's a really long time ago just to think about that.
All right, well, let's get back into this chain news. That was fun. All right, so we did Polygon. Ethereum. OpenSea stated that after the merger, only proof of stake tokens will be supported in the Ethereum network. ETH proof of work will not be supported. Ethereum miners generated 733 million revenue in August 2022. I thought that was interesting because those miners are going away.
Yeah, the miner market's gonna dump. Like if you want to get into mining for, you can mine Flux, you can mine a bunch of other tokens. You're wait wait till the 15th because right around then, the price of those miners are gonna drop, like incredibly because most miners that aren't dedicated specifically to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin miners are slightly different. There's a lot of special ASIC miners. Um, those GPU miners are gonna really drop in price.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the hardware will go
Yeah,
down.
the hardware, all the
Ah,
hardware.
interesting. I didn't even think of that. Yeah. Let's see. Ethereum network surpasses 1.7 billion transactions, so huge network. Ethereum's final upgrade before the merge to proof of stake in mid-September occurs 24 hours from now. But I think that happened actually. The Belarus upgrade has taken place. The final phase before the proof of works stake has happened. The Ethereum network is officially, officially I shouldn't say that, is ready for the merge. Let's see. And Vitalik Buterin says the merge to proof of stake is still expected to happen around September 13th through the 15th. So yeah, that's happening.
Yeah, it's this is a momentous moment, really. Like to be around when the Ethereum merge, like when such a big change, because Ethereum, as much as Bitcoin is probably the leader market cap wise, I think because Bitcoin doesn't, like, the founder's not really around, no one knows who he is. Ethereum's probably the biggest influence on the rest of the market that we see overall, and so
Yeah, and it's interesting to see it go to proof of work because I mean there's an interesting, proof of stake. There's just an interesting debate between proof of work and proof of stake. And now it's like really clear, like the number one and the number two, one's proof of work, one's proof of stake. Because there's an argument that just benefits the bigger fish because they can stake more.
Exactly. It goes back to the climate change what was on about before.
Yeah,
People wanna
well,
be
I mean,
green.
that's it.
It's
Proof
a
of stake
massive
is a
thing.
lot less energy intensive
Power
than
hungry,
proof
yeah.
of work. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
which
gonna happen. Yeah.
which was part of what was happening. I mean, earlier this year, the EU was trying to regulate proof of work blockchains to ban them more or less, because of their impacts on climate change, and so, in essence, this is almost a way of circumventing or preventing the need and preventing
Like getting
the
ahead of
risk
it.
that
Getting ahead of
any
all
of
that
those
policy.
regulations potentially harming like crypto as a whole. So
Yeah, interesting.
pretty interesting that way.
All right, then we got some Binance news. U.S. authorities request records of Binance CEO to investigate money laundering. The rest of it's kind of positive. Binance has added support for Cardano, ADA staking. Binance US confirms it will support Ethereum's merge to proof of stake, kind of officializing that, I guess. Binance will support the BNB Beacon Chain Network upgrade and hard fork. Binance Connect partners with SafePal to offer direct cryptocurrency purchases. And Nigeria and Binance are in talks to create a digital economic zone that supports blockchain technology adoption. Kind of flow added to this. Nigeria and Binance to create blockchain-focused free zone. Binance to remove USDC as a tradable asset on its platform beginning September 29th, 2022.
Now that's big news, isn't it?
A big one, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's where you kind of see like centralization does have its dangers, because they're basically doing it to favor their own stablecoin BUSD. So
Well, this is an interesting headline to follow up just right on what you're saying. The CEO of Circle called Binance's decision to convert USDC to BUSD correct. So just the fact that they said it's probably the right move for them to be doing that. I thought that was interesting.
I mean, it
I
makes sense
thought-
for trading pairs. The only reason it makes sense is for trading pairs. If you only have one coin or one stable coin supported as a trading pair in trading pairs, it does limit the amount of liquidity that you need, and in the end, makes it easier for users. But overall, it's still
And it helps their balance sheet as well, rather than having two pools of cash on hand. Then, isn't it? It's just to have one big pool of cash on hand. Well, not as big as two. Do you know what I mean? So they can probably get rid of a few million and put it in other places during this bear market. So that's probably quite a bit to do with it, I would have thought.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely probably.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So someone's saying, yeah, it brings more demand to BUSD rather than relying on USDC. I thought USDC was a partnership as well with Coinbase. That's what I thought it was. It was the two of them, wasn't it? Or have I got that wrong?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Because these USDC is supposed to be like federally regulated in the US, so it's possible, but
Interesting to see. And yeah, if you have any USDC on Binance, I mean, just be aware that this is going on. This is the final news from Binance. They're the clear number 3 total value locked behind Ethereum and kind of ahead of all the other EVM chains and non-EVM chains for that matter. Binance hires former Brazilian central bank president Henrique Meirelles as an advisor. Never heard of him, but anyway, kind of big picture. They're not. I mean, they're looking at the big picture. It looks like anyway, with a headline like that.
oh yeah, they're definitely big.
Yeah, they're going for it all.
Yeah, the Binance is definitely putting themselves to be a big player
Yeah.
in the space.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we can get kind of into some news and rumors. I thought this was just an interesting story, and I have to find out who this influencer was. But as part of an experiment, a crypto influencer came up with a fake investment scheme and raised 100,000 in Bitcoin in a couple of hours, after which he just immediately returned to the gullible users. What do you think about that? That was interesting.
It's kind of scary, like that so many people fell for it. Like 100,000. I mean, I'm hoping that I can raise 100,000 or at least 50,000 with Schedule Me for the rest of the bot's development. But I mean, it's scary to think that people would so blindly trust an influencer, but it also shows that an influencer has a lot of power in this space, and how important making sure that you're trusting the right ones or listening to the right ones, and not necessarily trusting them.
I wonder how he presented it. I'm curious. I'm gonna have to look into that one. Like how he sold it, like and is it like advertising that it's easy to steal? So like that part of it I don't like about the story. It's kind of like this is how easy it is, but it's important to highlight it. It's like we need to improve. Like this is how easy it is to get $100,000 in Bitcoin. Just bing, bing, boom. Tell a few lies.
But there have been a few influencers that have done similar things where they made fake coins and whatnot, and then they've ended up pumping. And even in the videos, they've been like, "Do not invest in this. This is just me testing it out," and they've made loads of money and stuff. So it'll happen again, won't it? Like it's unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think more investors need to be educated, and we need to
Exactly.
Peter and I were both on a great Twitter space with Nat Chat.
Oh yeah, that's posted in our server. So
yeah,
go check
and
it out.
bonus
What it's
and
going to be
posted
talking
in
about.
bonus XP.
Yeah.
But like we as investors need to be demanding more from projects that ask for our money, like plain and
Yes.
simple.
100%. I agree. Yes. Yes.
And I mean, I know at Universal we're hoping to help investors do exactly that with some of the stuff that we're working on. I'll let Peter leak that towards the end of the call, but there's like
Cat's out of the bag.
that's a crazy number to think about.
Well, we have a project, a protocol idea, business idea that also aims to improve the space, and it's using a 2 NFT system. We're not going to describe it all today, but part of it does have some association with KYC with Obsidian, and one of the things they did was the Lipgrid Capital.
Well, not okay. Let's be clear. We're not associated with KYC by Obsidian. It's where we.
Well, that's what you get for letting me leak anything.
It's inspired by kind of the demanding more and going further.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things they did was this Lipgrid Capital investigation, and that got finalized. Or let me just say, like, I'm very impressed with the KYC that Obsidian does because it has some teeth to it because they actually do go after people with the Crime and Investigation Unit. And I wanted to just kind of highlight they finalized their investigation. There's a report on House of Obsidian that kind of finalizes their investigation in Liquid Capital and the money that they were able to refund. So I just wanted to bring that up, I guess.
Yeah, so like just ways like there are people and groups that are going further to try and help protect the space, and we've been really inspired by that idea and that thought, and we were actually working very close to launching something ourselves that will really we think will bring what we need like even further from that to the space. So keep your eyes out on that. We'll probably drop the Twitter in the chat here, and
any first announcements will come from the Twitter. So yeah, we'll drop the Twitter account, and then our first announcements will come from there, opening Discord and everything.
Yeah, and
open
like
news
it'll be moving
article.
quickly, so keep your eye out. And we really think that it's something that you as an investor and you as a crypto user as a whole won't want to miss, because we really think it's going to be something that's gonna change how crypto operates, and make it just easier and like safer, so that, let's say your grandmother wants to get in, that there's an easier spot for them to.
Grandmas again.
Yeah, grandma's they're everyone's favorite person. So yeah,
That is
bring your
true.
grand.
Yeah, and a huge shout out to the Obsidian Council and House of Obsidian. For me personally, it was when I came into DeFi, I was lucky enough to meet these people, and it's helped me, learn about the space and learn about what's possible for improving the space. So just a huge shout out. They're a big inspiration for me in everything that I'm trying to build. So.
Amen to that, brother.
But speaking of inspirations and Nat Chat, thank you, Lady Bossnap, for joining us. I wanted to highlight something from your server. There was an article, Top 100 Public Companies Investing in Crypto or Blockchain Companies. It was an article posted by Dave Fi, and you have a crypto news channel in Nat Chat where community members scour and post articles from around the web and blockchain. And I just wanted to highlight this one because it was an interesting one to me. If you're interested in knowing who is investing, I had not seen this article at all.
Yes, I love that channel. I love that I opened it up for people like Dave or anybody can go post articles that they find. There's just with Nat Chat, that's just kind of the vibe that we go with. It's a community server. We just let people help bring news, info, anything like that. I love Dave. He's great. He finds all the great news articles for sure.
Cool. Yeah. And that's kind of all the news today, guys. That's all that I have. I just wanted to thank Lady Bossnap for coming, the queen of DeFi over here. You want to tell us a little bit about your server, what it is?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I was super nervous. I'm going to be honest with everybody. I've been super nervous over here the entire time, but
you did so good.
We made it. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I hopefully we do this again for sure. And hopefully everybody comes and visits Nat Chat. We are still building. But there's already so much going on there. There's a lot of things there. There's a lot of information there. A lot of great community members that are there to help anybody. They're always always ready to help anybody. We don't, you know how like in the space sometimes it's scary to ask a question. You don't want to sound like you're fudding or anything like that. Over here, no question is dumb. You can ask any question. It's a completely safe and positive place where you can come and get news, info, chat. We promote and market projects as well. Definitely safe ones. Try to look out for mostly, and just make sure they're legit and everything like that before I put that information out. But yeah, it's a great place. It's a great, I think anyway, community for any and all investors. You don't have to be new to come there. But if you are new, it's definitely a comfortable, safe, positive place for you to come and get any kind of help, news, all that in the space. So I hope to see everybody come there.
When I think of DeFi, it's treacherous waters and it's full of sharks. But the metaphor I like to use is we can pod up with dolphins, and yours is a great place to meet the good dolphins and learn how to pod up and form up and build up your defenses with community. Because you had like you said, your first one was Titan, and you helped a community through like a double rug, and
yeah.
Wow.
So
yes, it was rough.
Hold the community together.
Yeah, it was rough there, but we've all stuck together. We've made it through, and I definitely enjoy all of it. I enjoy meeting everybody and talking with everybody. I enjoy helping, even if it's not to do with the space. You can always chat with me. You can chat with anybody there. We all are a family here in the space. We have to stick together to make it, Teamwork makes the dream work.
Absolutely, WAGMI.
Yes.
Well, thanks everybody. Adamus, Ozzy, you have any anything you'd like to say before we close it down for today?
No, I'm all good, thanks. Yeah. Grandma, that's all I've got to say.
Ozzy, do you want to say anything before we go? Is there anything you want to add? Oh, maybe we lost him. Okay, well, we'll close it out. Well, thank you.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
here.
good. Maybe his sound's not on. But oh wait,
Oh, we have a guest.
do we have a? Let's see.
Someone's
We do
joined
have
us
a
on
guest.
stage, I think.
Oh,
Here he is.
Finn, what up?
Hey guys.
Surprise! I didn't think you were coming. How's it going? You got your power back on?
Yeah, I got my power back on. I've been here for quite some time now, probably 30 minutes.
I've been distracted.
I
You're
can
very
tell.
quiet.
I can tell. Lady Boss has been distracting you.
Yeah, fair enough. Well,
Yeah, I just wanted to put through some updates about the NFT airdrops. I just want to share that we had some problems with the server of like dropping every hour. So now we're going to do it once a day. Actually, today we did 2% just to make up for the other days that we had some problems with that. And from now on, we'll continue giving out 1%. Right now, we're just building the final interface just to interact so that people can swap those AU land for AVAX, which I did admit is 1-to-1. After we finish that, so it will be done for that interface, and then we can move on to more things. That's all the updates I wanted to share about that. Hopefully next week I have everything running and we can share more and we can show how everything works.
well, I appreciate the update. I was curious about that. I know you were working on it, and the airdrops were changing, but it's nice to see that. And then also, you had mentioned kind of the rationale behind waiting to do the exchange between the AU land and AVAX to kind of build up for the trading bot. But how is the trading bot doing? How is it going?
Oh, the trading bot is doing amazing, man. Especially with the market fluctuating like this. The trading bot has been doing amazing. Right now, I'd say since the beginning of the month, we're probably on like 40% profit. Maybe 50. I did not check, but somewhere there, between 40 and 50% with the trading bot, and we're building more trading bots. So yeah, we're having a good time with it.
That's cool. It just makes me curious if there's a way for the community to kind of watch what's going on and how it's doing. But I don't know if that's a possibility. But I'm super
It's
curious.
top secret. The community will only see profits coming in, man. They'll be coming in soon. What I like about it is because there's no more funds coming in, right? So I think the only way to prove it is for us to bring more funds out, right?
Right.
Because in most cases, people just keep people coming in. It sort of like becomes a Ponzi. In our case, we stopped investments from like the seed round and stuff like that. So now we're just dealing with like making profits using the trading bots. So there's no Ponzi with it. So that's our main proof, you know.
Yeah. No, and that's solid. No, I love it. I guess.
I mean, I did post some results, I think, last week.
Yeah. Yeah. No, appreciate it. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. And like you said, the
Yeah.
proof's in the pudding. You know, when it pays out, there you go.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I can open it. I haven't been kind of following general chat, but if there's anyone who has questions for Stud,
I was just about to say we've got one from Rocket
oh, wonderful!
asking
Thank you.
about where. Do you want to read it out?
No, if you could please,
Yeah, sure thing. Oh, while I'm on it. Yeah, it says, where can we learn more about the trading bots? So if you want to explain that a bit better, Peter.
Oh,
Where
for
can we
Stud,
learn
please.
more about the trading board? I don't understand in what way, but I can just say one of the trading board, what it does, it looks for longs and shorts that probably last maybe like a day or two. For example, I would say we did one long shot with AVEX that made like that made a very good profit. That made something like 10% of what we have. You know, that's one of the trading board. The other one trades very short. It does buys and sells very quickly. You know, that's the other one. Yeah, that's those are the two that I can share about right now. The other ones we're still working on them. But we also
So,
have, I did mention we have an arbitrage trading, which is not the same as a trading bot, which does swaps based on price that is not stable enough.
yeah. And basically, these trading bots and arbitrage bots, it funds a treasury that then pays
Exactly.
out to the NFT holders for our seed round that we just had, that we just closed at the beginning. The end of last month. So that's what
Exactly.
that's about.
Yeah,
Just to explain
correctly.
if
So
anyone's out of the loop on that.
yeah, I'll just like to add that we'll be making a smart contract for like the treasury, just to show people what we put in. Once we start making more enough money to put in there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There was one follow-up question. Are these bots developed internally? I think I know the answer to that, but if you want to respond to that.
Yeah, I'm part of the team that's making the board myself. So yeah, the in-house stuff, the in-house things.
Yeah. And you have a history as a trader before a developer, right?
Yeah, I hear you guys been talking about what was your first project that you bought? Me, I was firstly trading. I was trading Forex at the beginning around 2016, 2017, and then I stopped, and then I started learning about Bitcoin. And that's around time I went to my round of Cardano. That's how I started to feel confident in like Bitcoin, and I invested in Cardano because of him. And yeah, that was my first project I invested in, and I made a couple of dollars with that one. But yeah, that's how I started in the space. So I started trading actually. And also, how do I know how to do trading bots? For my masters, I was actually coding. So since I was trading, I was always trying to do trading bots all that time until recently when I decided to just finally do it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. And
Yep.
we might open up some other opportunities for people who maybe didn't get into our
Oh.
seed round to get into the training bot, but that's down the road. We're working pretty full tilt on a lot of things right now to really, I think, make the space safer, offer better and like sustainable returns to people, and so that's kind of where it's at right now. And we'll keep an eye on that Twitter account that we just shared. So follow that because
Oh, did you drop
there.
that?
I dropped that in the general chat, and I'll drop it again because
Well, for anyone listening on the YouTube, it's obviously twitter.com/Universal Trust 4, and that's the number 4.
Oh, thank you, Adamus, for considering
No problem.
the YouTube.
See? Well, we might have blind listeners as well.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
no, fair.
Everybody,
we can drop it into the
see,
You know?
description of our of the YouTube video as well for anyone who ends up watching this after the fact. So we really appreciate everyone who's taken the time to come listen to what we're doing. And
Yeah, just a tease, and thanks for coming. Yeah, coming to
Yeah.
join us live.
so
Yeah.
hey,
Just
Stud,
just to add, yeah. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
are you German? I see somebody asked in the general chat, so I was just curious as well. Are you a fellow
No,
German? No,
no ways, no ways.
no.
I'm not
9.
German, but here's a fun fact. When I was in Europe, I was spending my time in Switzerland and France. But what's funny is most of my friends were in Germany, so I always went to Germany.
Oh, okay, okay. I see somebody had asked in the chat, in general chat, so I just wanted to highlight that because I was curious too.
He's an adopted
No,
German,
I'm not
maybe.
German. I'm South African.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
Alpha.
I asked because of the accent, because of your accent. Okay, I see.
probably. Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
Oh, Lady Bossnap pulling out the Alpha. always wondered where it's from, and kind of like guessed. Yeah.
I always bring out the alpha in people. I feel like I just bring it out of them.
You're a natural. My goodness. All right.
I
Cool.
try my best.
Yeah.
Well, cool, everyone. Unless there's something else to add, we can close it up. Any last chance for any fun things you want to say? Go visit Lady Bossnat, and thanks for stopping in, Stud. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
appreciate everyone
problem,
who
man.
stopped in. This is our biggest news event yet. I think at the peak we had almost 20 people in here, and we've still got 15 listeners now. So really, really thankful for everyone who's shown up. It's been incredible.
Yeah, thank you. That's true.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
thanks.
beautiful. Oh, I just see they said great AMA and they'll be back. That's awesome. This has been great.
All
I
right.
appreciate you guys having me. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is ours. Yeah, just thanks everyone for joining us. We do record this live here, and then we post it to YouTube. We'll link it as soon as possible. And please like and subscribe. We do this regularly, so you can get your news through our YouTube channel. So, and the comments are appreciated. The feedback is great. We love it and want to know what you all think about it. Thank you.